full circle webinar. We're going to be going over the rules and the flow sheet first. I want to thank all of you for showing up tonight. And I see some new faces in here. I see some new names. Is there anybody here that's new, just so I can discern, who's new and who's here for questions and answers? Just type in the word new inside the and who's not a customer yet. So basically, you're new to the webinar, and not a customer. Just type the word new. David M, you're new. Thank you. Welcome. Rudy's new. Welcome. Okay, so we got a couple new people. I want to say thank you very much to both of you for taking some time to be here now. And this is not your normal sales webinar and training webinar. It's not a proof video. It's a little everything, right? So not every single one's the same exact way. So we have an archive. If you've missed a little bit, we have, if you want to reference back to some of the things I said, we have an archive that's right on dexindicators.net. You can get a free membership. There's a ton of training in there, just even with a free membership, that you can start utilizing right away as you're preparing for your decision whether or not you want to do this or not. One thing that I ask is that you keep an open mind throughout the entire process and know two things about this company. One, we strive to help as many people as possible reach their idea of success. And that's a difficult thing to say in this world of people that scam the shit out of everybody. Okay, especially in an industry that's just full of scammers and people that just want to tell you what you want to hear and show you fake results and all that kind of BS. Okay, by some guy who has 20 years of experience worth of trading, can go in and make $10,000 a month, but for some reason has a hard time teaching you how to do it. How many of you ever seen those people? How many have you sat in a webinar for an hour and a half and listened to some guy tell you how great he was and how great he can trade and show you all the stuff that he can trade and how much money he can make and fan dollar bills in your face to find out that you can't do any of that? Yeah. Sick of that crap. 2 years ago, myself and a handful of partners got ripped off. We got $115,000 taken from us from a shady overseas signal company and a broker. And so we got pissed off. And we started to look for a company that could help us wreak revenge. But guess what? There was none. I went to them all. I mean, everybody. Apex Investing, Chris Capri, all of them. And they all had one simple tone, most of them. If I could find one that was decent, like Apex was a decent company, Slick Trade had some good people in it. There's a whole bunch of people that are out there. But here's the thing. It's so confusing and convoluted with stuff. So confusing. The videos are like 2 hours long. There's all this stuff that's out there. You just can't find anybody to boil it all down to one little tiny process, man. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating as all hell because you're sitting here fighting for your life. You're trying to make money. You're here to build a business. And by the way, that's one and the same thing. You guys know that, right? Who here thinks trading is not a business? The moment you decide to be a work-at-home person and start trading, you better be ready to go to battle. And I'm not talking, I only want to push a button a couple of times a day because I can't afford to sit in front of my computer all day. That lame ass excuse has to sit at the doorway. Because if you want to make the money that you really want and you want to be successful, two things need to happen. You better be prepared to listen and to work. Because if you don't listen and follow direction and are disciplined, then you're just chucking your money right in the ground. And if you're not prepared to work it, there ain't no system for you. Do you understand? You might just get up and walk out the room right now. And say thank you, by the way, because I just saved you $30,000, $40,000 worth of your time and probably a couple $100,000 worth of your money. Trading's not for you. I only had to tell a handful of people in my time here so far. In this last 2 years, we built this company and built Dex Signals, and Dex Indicators is only 3 weeks old. And we're already topping the charts in all of our numbers, in trainings and helping people reach those successes. And I'm going to show you some of that tonight. I'm just going to show you what the system looks like and how it works. I'm also going to show you behind the scenes and show you that it's a real company. Why do I have to do all this? I don't. I could be like every other company and just throw out a website and send a bunch of paid traffic to it and trick the shit out of all of you just going in and finding some bot in there that really doesn't trade anything. But I didn't want that to happen to me. I hunted through all that crap. I said to my partners, if we're going to do this back in March, if we're going to do this, because listen, when we started the company almost a year and a half, it was a year and a half ago, so not 2 years, but a year and a half ago, we started the company. After about 6, 7 months of really hunting, and we couldn't find somebody to help us, really help us. And we started building Dex Signals. We spent from June of last year to March of this year trying to fight through all the crud. Every time we came in, I had a personal trading record of 92%, 3 months running. 3 months running, I traded my ass off in those rooms and had 92%. I got into this one group and this person yelled at me that I was a scam artist because there's no way you could have 92%. No matter how much proof I proved and shown, didn't matter. Everything that I brought to the table, I was called a scammer. Everything I said that I was doing, I was told I was a liar. Boy, after a while, you start feeling it. Maybe some of that's happened to you folks out there. You're trying to find the true system out there, a program, something, and you just can't seem to hook your hands into it. The only reason we have what we have today is because I did something that a lot of other people don't do. I took it to a level that I needed to because I needed to save my own life from everything. I was so mad. I had a radio network, I had a marketing firm, had all these great things happening for us, and I lost it all in one fatal swoop of trusting an overseas broker. So I just didn't lose 115. I lost good friends. I lost family. I mean, yeah, and I talked family into doing this as well. I lost a lot. It affected close to 50 people. And there was no way I was going to let this industry get away with it. So when we built Dex Signals, we knew back in March that we needed to make something that was safe for a lot of people. We transpired to build that network out and began to work with a very powerful idea of if we were going to test strategies, we needed to build a system to test the strategies first, because there's no way you can test anything doing hash marks in a book or, guesstimating or looking at the market. So I built a strategy tester, the first one of its kind, where I could put in the variables of any strategy, London breakout, sausage sushi, Euro JPY breakout, all of it. Any variable that I can put into there, I could test out. EMAs, stochastics, I could use any indicator I wanted. It took me 3 months to build it of nothing but coding. I had to teach myself coding. I kid you not. Myself and one other programmer, him doing with all the security, the detail process for the databasing, which I was lacking. But I built all the other front systems and encoding processes and algorithms and put it all together. The first batch of signals that got pushed out were the daily signals, and boy, were those great. They're a little unusual. You got to get used to them because they're not an average signal. After we really started testing that process, something began to show to me. And the first thing is that there is no system out there that'll give you better results than 50-50. That sucks. That's the first thing I thought. Holy crap, that sucks. No strategy out there, no one particular strategy will give you better than 50-50 when you extend it out over a long period of time. The only difference that I started to find was when I timed it in a different fashion, but I couldn't do it with a bot. I had to do it with a human being. Why? Because human beings make decisions in a different pattern than a bot will. A bot is very systematic, and a human being will throw off the algorithm just enough to make it better. Unless the human being doesn't follow the rules, then they will make it worse. The more disciplined somebody was, the more accurate they were. Does that make sense? Sounds weird, right? So why don't I just put this in a signal system and charge $300 a month for it? Go ahead, somebody ask me why. Because this is not right. I don't want to make you dependent upon a signal process. Thanks, Michael. You have to know how to read the market and know the market. And no system out there No signal network, no signal service, no delivery process, no indicator network, no training platform ever wants you to get away from being hooked to that process. Eventually, you might be able to find something that works better for you. And you, as you get disciplined and get better at it, the bigger boys may work for you. You might jump into Forex, you might jump into futures, you might jump into all these other things. But know one thing, you're going to learn how to spot complication and complexity and make it simple, because you're going to surround yourself with that process here. Now, here just a couple of months ago, I started to look at a process of building some indicators, because most of my people were having a hard time reading the market. So I was trying to build certain things. I created a support and resistance indicator first, and that was the flagship one, was our support and resistance. I gave this to some of our people in our Dex Signals to verify direction and to be able to help them choke up on daily signals. And somebody came to me one day and said, look, this thing works awesome. If you add a double stochastic or some other things to this, this is going to be great. So I started to look at, well, what does a true indicator look like, and what can we give? How can we help even more people that are in that mentality that I want indicators instead of signals? Hence, Dex Indicators were born. After a lot of work, thousands of hours worth of timing, and figuring out the strategies, we put together this 5-minute system, because 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes on the clock, there's 12 of those in an hour. And learning how to trade, the more trades you get on, who can agree with this statement? The more trades you do, the better you get if you're following a system. Right? So if I say to you right now, and here's a statement that you'll carry around for a while, it takes you about 200 trades to get really good at doing a system, about 200 trades. If you're trading on an hour, every hour, once every hour, maybe you're doing 2 trades an hour, okay? That'll be 50 hours. If you're doing 2 trades an hour, it's going to take you, 100 hours. But you're doing 1 trade an hour, it's going to take you 200 hours to get to that concept. Who has 200 hours? Some of you would. Some of you would do it. Trust me. I know some of you that are in this room. And you'd be like, 200 hours, not a problem. I got it. I'm going. I'm going to start right now. I can tell you Michael Sr. too would be. Tell you Brian Farrow would be. Amy Kuipers would be. Who else would do 200 hours? If you had a system that was going to pay you, that you could actually make in excess of a certain amount of money. I won't say numbers yet because I can give you the risk disclaimers yet. But who would do the work to get to there? Okay, so let me do this so I can tell you numbers, so I can show you stuff. Risk disclaimer, right? Everything that we're going to give, everything we're going to tell you, everything you're going to see and get when you join our company, if you haven't already, okay, anything that we give you is for trade assistance only. I'll never build you a bot that's going to trade for you. I'm not willing to make bots. Bots make poor partners. I can't go to a bot and say, hey, it's nice to meet you. Let's go into business together. Let's make things work. Let's save the world. Let's figure something out. Let's build a program together. Okay. But let me tell you, all results may vary. David, you might do that. Sure, you would. Rudy, you would, of course. But you all might have different results. Some of you, your results are going to mean almost from what you need, not from what you want. Okay. Some of you are going to be going after what you want. And I'm here to tell you that either one is possible. And what you need to do is do the work. That's the only thing that I ask from this point on. So I've read you the risk disclaimer, not all of it, but you see it and it's on there. You could pause the video and go back and read it. But legally, I filled my obligation. Now let's talk money. How much can you make? What can you do? I'm not even going to, here's the rules. We're not even going to talk about rules just yet. What can you do? Well, design around what you need and the time that you need. You don't need to do 50, 60, 70, 80 trades a day to make a system work. But you need to make sure that when you do trades, they're consistent. We have an algorithm or equation. We refer to it as CVG. Consistency plus volume equals goal. Some of you know this like the back of your hand, and you're starting to use it in your everyday life. And this is great because this is a life-saving equation. Why? Because the moment you get anything consistent, to get to your goal, you simply add volume. And in our case, it's not volume of trades. It's not volume of time. we're already doing the time. If I can do 5 trades an hour, okay, 5 trades an hour, where I'm making $20 per trade, okay, let's write this out on the whiteboard. If I can do 5 trades an hour times $20 per trade, right? Let's say if I'm making that $8 per trade after fees and everything, right? 5 trades per hour times $20 per trade equals $100 an hour, right? Simple math, right? Because on each one of these 20, this is one contract, right? It's one contract. I'm doing 5 trades, so it's about $100 an hour. How do I get to $200 an hour? Well, one of two things. I have to do 10 trades an hour, or I have to put 2 contracts. What do you think is more obtainable? Got it? The 2 contracts, of course. Doing the 2 contracts just shows you that that algorithm is real, right? CVG exists. It's real. Just proved it right here. So if it's that easy, all I need to do in order to make you successful is to help you become consistent, right? Your life will add the volume. And once you decide what your goal is, that's what you really are going after and how much volume you add. Nothing else matters from that point. This is the biggest aha that every single person I've ever met in the system, when you get to that CVG mentality, you're like, holy crap. So if I do only 5 trades in one day, okay, we're going to say per day, where the average contract price is $20, okay? If I tell you that 5 trades per day, $5, that's $100 a day. ITM, of course. But save most of your questions for the end. I promise you. You can ask him in a minute. It doesn't matter. I'll answer if I can. If I can't, I'll save it. I'll bring it to the end. But if you could do this, if you could do 5 trades per day at $100, where your contract price is $20 profit margin, okay, $22 profit margin. If I could show you this right now, what's that worth? Because that to you right now, $100 a day is about $2,000 a month. Now, no matter what you need, right? Everybody in your mind right now, think about what you need per month. Not what you want, what you need. And if you think of that number in your head, apply it to this equation right now. What does it look like for you? 5 trades per day. What does that look like for you? So figure out how many contracts you need from that point. So if you need $5,000 or $4,000, you have to do 5 trades per day times how many contracts? Times 2. If you need 8,000, it's times 4. You have 4 contracts per month. Now, in order to do that, you got to have proper risk management. We tout 5 to 10%. So again, you got to kind of do some reverse engineering. I can help you do that. Once you buy into the system, go hit the booking button, which I'll show you inside. You book a consult with me. We sit down and go over it. We find out what your plan is. The very first one you do with us, I ask you questions like how long you've been trading. We try to fit you into the proper. I don't think I've ever done 2 ones alike. So pretty powerful. So let's just jump right in and start looking at it. We got kind of some of the mentality down, but now let's start talking about what is the system itself and why we originally, why we went into 5-minute trades, because now you could do a lot of systems in there, right? Because you can get a lot of trade potential in 1 hour. Why? Because Nadex, who we use for our exchange, has a 5-minute binary system with 4 major pairs, okay? And those 4 assets meet 12 times in an hour. Okay, they have 12 possible statements per hour. So those 4 times 12, 48. 48 opportunities possible. But we have created a system in here. First, one of the main rules in anything that we have is no news trading. Does anybody here news trade? If you do, my hat's off to you. You're at a level that's way beyond me, even me, because news trading always scares the living hell out of me. So no news trading, because we know during the news, there's a lot of volatility. And even if the numbers look all great, market could kind of flip around on you in a millisecond, last 8 seconds, lose trade, right? So secondly, we've began to focus on a delivery of the system to be able to put a arrow on the chart for you at a particular time frame. One, we're using an M1 time frame. Okay, that's a means minute one. If you're not used to using MetaTrader, if you're not used to using charts or you know what candles are, don't worry, we got you covered. There's training inside on every aspect of this, every aspect. From learning how to use Nadex, from learning how to use MetaTrader, from learning how to trade, using Trader's Mind, using the process of CVG, getting into that solution. And when you can't find something, we got a top of the line system company in there, or ourselves in their support system. So our support network staff is in there. They're all waiting for you to help you with the process as well. Now, so our timing feature is that we take a minute chart, which I'll show you here in a second. Okay. And each one of these bars is set to a minute, right? So when this happens, when an arrow gets placed on the chart on a 3-minute bar or a 4-minute bar, this is considered a positive signal for us. On a sell signal, the arrow will be red and pointing down. On a buy, it'll be blue and pointing up. Now, the lines, the horizontal lines that you see in this graphic are what we refer to as support and resistance lines. So when those arrows are placed on the chart, you go from the bar that has the arrow above it and go to either the tip of the arrow, and you'll see what the horizontal line is by using your mouse button. I'll show you here that in a second. And you'll get the price wherever it is at the tip of the arrow, or the support and resistance. Support and resistance line will give you a better risk rate, but it's hard sometimes to fill when they're really far apart. You can have it at those points to know that that is a strong line to use, or you can risk manage or risk a little bit more and come to the tip. Okay. It all depends on where the position of the current price is when the arrow gets placed. Now, the arrow doesn't ever get placed on the current base of the bar. So this arrow that got placed was placed when this particular bar ended right here. And the reason why we put it here is not called painting or back painting or whatever it is, right? In this particular case, I could actually place it on the current bar and tell you to go back one bar, but I don't. What I do is I place it on this bar because I want you to, when you hover over the bar itself, all the information will be at the tip of that arrow on what you should have it at. And then you just you can hover over your line. And so you can keep it in that system. I've had it the other way. And I've had some of the staff and the other people say, listen, this is confusing. I always forget to go back one, and I go to this one and I see it's all the way down and I get screwed up and I don't remember which one to get into. So we decided to put it back one, right? So in doing that, you'll get into the very next trade. So the timing is set perfectly. So the 3 or 4 minute, which means 3 minute after, 13 minute after, 23 after, 33 after, and so on. Same thing with the 4, the 8, and the 9. You're looking at the last digit, right, in the time. So when it gets placed on those, it's actually going to get placed there on the 3 at the end of the 4-minute bar. The 4 is going to get placed at the end of the 5-minute bar, still having enough time to get into this 5-minute trade. You go with the strike period that is from this point, and you got a solid win. And remember, this isn't very far. In fact, on a minute chart, this is only about 1 or 2 pips in between. Okay, so pretty damn powerful. Also on a sell signal, Nadex uses an indicative price for the actual market, where we're using a MetaTrader 4 chart with a spot Forex. Until we get our next system up, either using the Nadex API, which we've been approved for and we're going to be utilizing soon, okay, or you're not going to be able to use a MetaTrader for any other system just yet with our indicators, or until we get other indicators that can use the indicative pricing structure, you're going to add 2 pips extra to the process, right? Or as much as you possibly can. So if you're coming from the tip, you want to come up at least 1.5 pips to 2 pips, because it's usually 1.5 pips difference on a sell, okay? On a buy signal, You don't necessarily have to come up the extra. You can, but if you leave it at the point, you're actually going to get a very good buy signal at that point. So whether you're using the tip or the SR, you're going to get a very good signal from that point on a buy. Okay. Now, could you come in and get a better price? Absolutely. And some people do. Some people just take the risk from that position. And I think we've pegged it at like 92% when we do that process. Okay. Because then the fill rate's really high. But remember, it's a different success rate. So you just got to keep that in mind. So I've explained what some of it is. Let's go look at it in practice and kind of see it. You're not going to get all your answers filled tonight, but the answers that you got left over are going to be really figured out when you start learning and start doing. That's if this passes your smell test, I guess, from this point, right? And everybody has it. Why? Because I had it when I was looking for things. So let's get in and have a look around. The first thing I do, let me see if I turn my chart. Yep, I sure did. The first thing I always do when I'm preparing to trade is that I kind of lose all the other distraction, right? How many of you have gotten in to go do trading and you're like, you got Facebook up, you got the TV going on, you got the kids running back and forth, you're all over the place, right? You got to lose the distraction. So what I do is that I shut down Facebook, I shut down everything else. I bring up Nadex, I separate it from the browser where I just have them set. Usually I pull it over to the side, okay? Let me discontinue it that way. And I kind of have my screen bared just like this, right? Just off to the side, just a little bit so I can flip back and forth. All right. I also then set up all my charts where, because we're only using 4 on the main system here, these 4 I always seem to have set up in a 4 square, which is this button right here, okay? And when I click into each one, I make sure that I have my crosshair on in each one. So it's a quick, easy process. If you have a mouse wheel, you can just click your mouse wheel. If you don't, then you can come up here and hit this crosshair. That way, when I hover over the bars, I can see what the time is. Now we're only looking at the last digit. Like this one has the last digit of a 9, right? So that's a 9-minute bar. Okay, this one has the last digit of a 9, and this one here has the last digit of a 3, or a 3 right there. So that would be a signal from the process. Okay. Now this one has the last digit of a 1, so this is a 1-minute bar. So this one we wouldn't be utilizing that one, right? So it's that simple. So once you get into and you get a actual signal, like on this one, you got that 9 signal, you would opened up. You're only going to do one trade at a time. So if you get multiple signals out of those, if you get like 2 of them that are like popping off, pick one, go with the best rate that you can possibly get. If you got one that's close and the other ones are just really good, go with that one. I don't want you trading more than one at a time, at least for your first 200 or 300 trades, because you got to really get this down in the very beginning. Okay. So you would simply either try to find a support and resistance line that you could get at, which is right here, which is that 22.23. You would come up 2 extra pips if you needed to. And that's really only about 3 pips out on where it was when it was delivered. Okay. If you come from at the tip right here, you simply add 2 pips up, which is going to be right around that bar. Some people use the support and resistance bar as a nice little line because it keeps the resistance there. Remember, if it's above you, it's resistance. If it's below, it's support. Okay. So this one particular signal 1, 9, you go for the following trade, and you could easily tell it was a win if you got it at this line right here. Okay. So pretty powerful. Then once I put the trade on, I flip over to Nadex, I get to the trade, I watch the trade out, I have this line, I have this one box expanded. Once that's done, I clear all the madness away, I go back to looking. I might even wait after I win one. For me, I win 1 or 2 an hour, I'm good because I'm putting 5, 10 contracts on. I just made $400. I'm going to take a nice peaceful breath. I'm going to get it back into it, and I might get back on and say, look, all right, that one's at a 6. I'm not getting into that one. I might also take a break. If I lose one, I might take a break and shine myself away, make sure I didn't make any mistakes, and I'm going to go back at it with a fresh pair of eyes in a half hour, 20 minutes. Why? Because I know that if there's no news trading, I have plenty of time to sort out if I sit down for an hour. Where when you're trading an hour trade or an intraday trade or a daily trade, you ain't got much time. But listen, does this take a lot of discipline? The answer is hell yeah. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline. 12 pips higher? No. Can't be 12 pips higher than the MT4. I don't know which one you're looking at, Grant, either. It's always usually about 1 or 2 pips. A pip on, well, micro pips, it's 1.5. So it'd be 12 micro pips, but it'd be 1.2. So, you know, a pip on any system like this one right here on anything but a JPY system, the fourth digit over from the left is the pip. So on this would be 08741. So it's 0874, right? So that's the fifth one. That's the micro pip. On a USD or a JPY, anything, it's the second number over from the left. The third is the micro pip. So even though it's not 12 pips, it's 1.5 pips or 1.2 pips. There's a difference because it depends on the indicative. The indicative is set very simply in a pattern like this. It takes out a block of contract prices, okay? And it says the ones from the middle, they take out, and then they average that amount of those prices. And that's what gives you the floating indicative. And Nadex states, and I've seen this happen. You've seen whiplashing, right? You've seen where it just flips or whipsaws one way, and then it comes back up, right? And they do this in the Forex market because they're trying to capture as many stop losses, along the way, and then they zip it back up so it can continue direction. We've seen this happen in a very fast hit, where an indicative price will absorb that process and move it a lot slower from that solution, and may not move it all the way down, because by the time it averages back in, it's already back up to where it was, and it only drops a pip instead of 12. Okay, does that make sense? So I agree with them in having that process. At first, I was always like, why are you trying to rip me off my money? But now I've begun to really see why they've done what they've done. And even though that we are friends with Nadex, we send a lot of people to Nadex, we don't get paid for anything. We don't get paid affiliate numbers. We don't get paid any money on the side. We don't do anything that would jeopardize our integrity when it comes to sending people there. And we've sent thousands of people there. And I have no qualms with saying that, because I know two things. One, Nadex is an exchange. It's not a broker. The difference between an exchange and a broker is more of the person standing on the outside. Okay, a broker is a company that they'll hold your money and they'll speculate the market. Okay, and that broker can keep your money at that point. There's no legality with that broker. They can hold your money and keep it leveraged and do all that stuff, where Nadex can't. And then you're trading against other traders on the exchange. Sometimes they're professional traders like market makers. Okay, they're big money, but in all intents and purposes, what you're actually doing is you're utilizing an exchange between you and another trader. And you both are battling to see who's going to be right. One's a buy, one's a sell. And that's how Nadex works. And they get paid 80 cents in and 80 cents out, or 90 cents in and 90 cents out, sorry. So when you buy into the trade, it's 90 cents. And when you sell it out, it's 90 cents on both sides. And that's where they make their money. So they want you to be, they don't care if you're successful, if it's a win or a loss, they make money on both sides. Okay, they make money on the money going in and trades going in and trades coming out. The ones that you're pissing off for winning is the market makers. And they can't affect the overall indicative price, and they're not allowed to cause the system to be parsed or held back. Okay, it's against the law. It's against regulation. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if anybody has a conspiracy against it. I know what the regulations are, and I see the data that's there as well. They have to prove the data as well. So it's there. All right. So let me see real quick. It's at 7:35. We got about a minute to kind of hang around for a second. See if I can't get into this one. It's too late. I don't see anything coming on from that point. Let me whiteboard this for a second. Okay. Lots of work being done. Okay. All right. So let me take you in and kind of show you what the process was and what it is and what it's starting to become, so you can make an informed decision tonight. Okay. So if you're here for learning more about the system, if you're here learning more about the company, great. If you're here because you want to learn more and trade more and ask questions, don't worry. Here in about 15 minutes, the webinar will end and we'll have a questions and answer after the process here. But for those that want to know more about getting in, I'm going to deal with you first and about what the prices are and how everything works and what you get from the process. The system itself is the Dex indicator network itself is built behind a process to help you learn how to use the indicators. We're not here just to drop you in and hope for the best, right? We want you to be successful. We want it to work for you, right? We want it to be at a point where you can actually make money in such a fashion that you don't have to worry about all that other stuff. We want you to be able to make money at your idea of what success is. We don't want you to be restricted from that process. So if you want to add more volume and shoot for the moon, then that's what it is, right? So over at Dex Signals or DexIndicators.net, sorry. Okay, one of the things when you buy in inside your membership portal, oh, let me log in. This is all real time. So one of the things you'll get is, of course, all your information, your licenses of what you get when you're buying into the indicators and stuff. But this is the back office. And immediately, as soon as you sign up, you get Trader's Mind series. Now, this will help you trade and give you some mentality and also prepare you for some of the 5-minute trades that you'll be doing as well. MetaTrader Mayhem. If you have no idea how to use MetaTrader, this will be your go-to training series. All our videos are very short and sweet and to the point and are very informative. They get you to a very quick point of learning how to do the system, right? If you don't know anything about Nadex or you've had trouble struggling through Nadex, don't worry. Nadex Ninja will help get you through that process as well. It'll teach you how to use our system with Nadex. Throughout the entire process, down here, you see on the right-hand side, there's a little online for chat. If you've got a problem, you contact these guys in there. They'll help you out. They'll get you sorted. Up here, you see where it says book consult. Boom. If you have a problem with any indicators, you can't get them installed, you want to get your first booking up so we can make your plan, this is what you do. You click on that button and you schedule a time. Look at this, 4 hours every day, except for Monday and Friday. But throughout the day, so 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, and 4. I have you can, because there's a lot of other stuff that I have to do. But during this week, you get to meet with me anytime during that time. So it fills up quick. Last week, I completely filled up. Okay. So a lot of these times are already filled and you can kind of see where they're going already. Because usually it's from 1 to 4 o'clock. So some of these are filled. So almost the whole day's filled on some of them. But what you have available for me is that you can talk to me about the process. You can ask me questions about the solution. Why? Because I'm extremely successful with this process. I've really taken this to heart on learning how to trade with simple programs. Okay. So why am I good at training people? Why am I good and why do I say I'm good at training people? Well, I train people like Michael. And Michael started this system. He started back with us in August over at Dex Signals. And here on October 17th, I asked him to come over and have a look at a 5-minute strategy system that we built. And he started in demo, learning the process, and he just started running with it. And from October 17th, trading in demo, okay, let's make sure, did I get it on the right page? I got it. Okay, good. Starting in demo, started to trade on the process to get to his 100 trades first, okay? Now, anybody who tells you to go try something out in live, call them an idiot and walk away from them. Because anybody who's like, well, they don't do it live, they do it in demo to train you. You should do it live. run away. Okay. They're just trying to waste your money. So on the 17th, he came over and he tried it. Now he went ballistic. He just started going at this thing. His first day, he did 38 trades. He lost one, but he did 38 trades on his first day. Okay. He worked from 8 o'clock in the morning. Actually, no, he did more than he did 42 trades in one day. So 23:15 is when he stopped. So it's 11:15, 42 and 1. Came back, did on the 18th, got into, he did have another loss, got in again, worked at 9 o'clock on that time, did 78 and 2 overall now in 2 days, 78 trades and 2 losses in 2 days. Came back on the 19th, finished it out with 98 and 2, made $2,147 with 2 losses in there. I said I was very proud of him, showed him a lot of stuff. He said, thanks to us. I said, do your next 100 trades, but this time I want you to trade with 5 contracts because that's how you're going to go live, right? So I ask everybody when they're learning, what's your intent when you go live? How much money do you have to trade with? What are you going to be using? Let me help you set your risk management. This is what you're going to go with. This is your plan. So I said to him, get ready. You're going to do your next batch. And during your next batch, once you feel comfortable, you're gonna go live. And so that's what we did. On the 19th of October, went through and started doing his trades. Hit his process, got a loss, blames me. That's okay. Said Max's fault because we both got into the same loss. And he just started going. Now here's October 20th. Remember, he started on the 17th. He's only 3 days from the time he started. Okay. And he's inputting 5 contracts in. You're seeing this, right? And now he's starting to scalp less. He's starting to let this stuff go to expiry. And when he scalps, it's really important to scalp. He's not just scalping to scalp anymore. Oh, he had another loss there. So 66 and 2 at that point. Now he's on October 21st. And he's going and going and going and going. And now it's the 24th. And he's almost to the end, 92 and 3 minus 394. Okay. On that last trade. Looks like he had a loss right there. But look at the overall amount. Does this loss, listen, let me ask you guys a question. If I just showed you this page right here, and all you're seeing was 1, 2, 3, 4, that's pretty crazy, right? That's like, oh man, you lost 1 out of 4. You're in the hole. If you just seen this page, if this was your perspective, you'd be like, this system sucks. But I just showed you this. Oops. I just showed you this entire system of 90-something trades. And if it's 3 losses, okay, that's 95 total trades. 93 divided by 95. Oops, no, wait, sorry. Yeah, no, 92 divided by 95. That's 96.8% success. Can anybody raise their hand and say they've ever seen anybody do that before? Can anybody? 96.8? No. If you can, please tell them to come over and talk to me because I'd love to have them on board with us and have them train us as well. So his first 3 days did 98%. His next, look what he did, right? Now, we started to go live with him. And this is tough to see. This is tough to feel, right? Look, and this is now he started live, right? Now, if I show you this screen, you might look at like 1, 2, oh, he's got another loss. 1, 2, 3, oh, he's got another loss. And he's only made $86, right? I get it. This is what you're seeing. This is what you're feeling. And this is probably a pretty hard loss for him right at the moment. But it's not actually. Why? Because in the grand scheme of things, this information, okay, if I take this information right here and I go back over to his second right here, and I do that, this doesn't mean squat anymore, does it? This doesn't mean squat anymore because if I add it all together to everything he's done, his perspective isn't about tonight, folks. It's about the long term from the 19th. And what I'm saying in the long term from the 19th, that's only 5 days ago. And 2 of it was the weekend. Now let's be serious. Okay. $9,589. So the last 10 trades are live. It doesn't matter. The system, the format, the money, everything is still the same. This is the potential. Now, granted, he's got close to $8,000 in that other system, so he can trade at a higher level amount of contracts. But that makes no difference. If it was only one contract at a time, does it really make a difference? $9,589 divided by 5. If we just made it one contract, in 5 days you made 1,917. So really 3 days worth of trading. You made about $600 a day. How many would enjoy six? I hit the X button. I am so sorry. I'm sorry I hit the X button. I was trying to flip that over, and I've only done that one other time, and I do apologize. Hit the X button. I can't believe that it's kind of saves you. Can you guys hear me now? Am I back? Am I doing a Verizon bit? Yeah. Okay. Good. So sorry about that. But do you guys get that? $600 a day is not. We can hear you, but no screen. Yeah, I'm getting there. How's that? Can you see the screen now? Okay, good. So the understanding here is not so much how much can you make me in my first couple of days? It's how much are you prepared to work to get to it? Now, Michael's been with us since October or since August 8th. And so he's put some time in the barrel figuring stuff out. But really, how much does it take to get to that position to learn it? And it doesn't take much. What it really does take is just your determination and your discipline. And we're here to help you for that process. But I can't help you unless you're willing to help yourself as well. And that's what it comes to. How much are you prepared to help yourself? Now, the cool thing is that you're not just getting the stuff you're getting today. Okay. We were showing you some of the things inside. The Dex indicator system comes with all the indicators for one flat rate price. So all the indicators included. And you never have to worry about one upgrading, have to paying extra, or getting into another new one comes out, so you got to pay another $200 to start with that one. We have about 5 more that we're going to be bringing out over the next 3 months. 2 of them are going to be so powerful because they're going to be a signal network. With one is going to be a 5-minute, the other one's going to be an intraday, and the last one's going to be a daily. And they're going to be a signal system for this process. So we have our Dex daily signal system. We have a Dex flag and pennant system that's coming out as well for at the monies. So right now, our 5-minute uses a Dex trend reverse with some added extra things in there. It's not a normal trend reverse. And the Dex support system, which is also not a normal support system. And then we got some other features and strategies on how to use each one of these as well. So all that's included. Plus you add the customer service on, plus you add the consults, plus you add all the training, the webinar archives, the webinars every night, the strategy systems that we have, the proof in the playlist, all of it. Okay. All the training for all the systems on board and how easy it is to set up. All right. So that's basically the first part of the webinar. But before you guys go, before I, get you to the last shot here, this one right here, you have to understand that how much is this worth for you? And the understanding of this process, learning how to do it is what takes the longest. Learning how to do it effectively is only as long as you make it. Now, we have a monthly fee of $147. And that $147 is worth every penny of what we do. But because I want you to train in it, I'm going to give you the Dex Save 50. You're only going to be paying 97 for your first month. And this will get you to a point of learning the system. If you don't learn the system in your first month, if there's a problem, like say if something happens, like you got to go away or an emergency happens, call me. We'll hold your account off, okay? And keep it to 97 until you get back into the process. I don't mind doing it, but you got to just tell us and let us know. If you can't learn it in the first month and then we sit down a few times, there might even be a conversation that goes like, maybe this is not for you. No, he was trading live with 5 contracts, by the way. Here's his live contract page. So it comes down to one thing for sure, is that what are you willing to do to make it happen? We're willing to work with you all along the way. So this is what it just has to take. You just have to make the commitment to do so. That's it. We're going to be here for you for the entire process. And as everything starts to unfold, you'll begin to see those aha moments. How much should you trade? What's a good acceptable time to trade? You'll be able to find these things out very quickly, where in other systems, it'll take you months to figure it out. Okay. So we're going to leave this up here. It's Dex Save 50 bucks off your first month. For anybody that showed up here or watching this after the facts, thanks a lot for hanging out. I'm going to stop the video now so we don't bore you with a whole bunch of questions to answer in the room. But I appreciate everybody's time. I really look forward to seeing you inside. And I want you to know that we appreciate everything you've done. And if whatever you decide to get into, we can understand. And we hope that you will be a part of this family as well. I'm Max Farrow. This is DexIndicators.net. Look forward to seeing you inside and trade well.